What's up, everybody? Today we're sitting down with Michelle Duke. Michelle, tell everybody a little bit about what you do here and what your role is, and kind of your background.
Okay. I'm Michelle Duke, and I am the recruiting manager here at Southern Response. I am responsible for getting the orders, pushing them out to the team, making sure the team has everything they need to be able to recruit for the position that they are trying to fill, making sure that they have all the qualifications, making sure that they have all the access to any kind of job boards that they need to be able to find the candidates and get them over to the clients.
Okay. What, where are you originally from, and what kind of got you into recruiting?
I'm originally from Sims, right here in Mobile. I originally started at the front desk many years ago. We won't talk about how long ago. And I just started at the front desk, fell in love with being able to help people to change their career and get them on the role that they needed to be in to further their careers.
What does a professional background look like, and how did you prepare for the role that you have today?
I would say that my professional background started with slowly getting into recruiting. So I kind of learned every role of it. I started with, being a junior recruiter, then kind of moved into a mid level and then a senior recruiter. So I know every aspect of it. So it helped me to be more confident and able to manage internal staff.
And like your career path, did you see like being in staff and being a recruiter is something you want to do before you took that front desk spot?
Absolutely not. That was never the goal. If you would ask me that a long time ago, I would have never said, yes, I'm going to be a recruiter. I'm going to become a recruiting manager and I'm going to love every aspect of it. I would have said, no way. Went to college for something completely different and wound up here, and I wouldn't change a thing about it.
What was your background before staffing?
I would say did a lot of culinary, cooking, arts, stuff like that.
And you still do that today.
I still do that today.
Keeps us fed. And you started staffing when?
In 2015 is when I originally got into the staffing world.
Okay, that was the same year that we started Southern Response here, so around the same time. And a lot of people get us confused. We were just talking about this before. Is when you were at previous companies in staffing and then us in staffing here, a lot of people would come to you and be like, "Do you know? You got to know. You got to know the Duke boys, this, that, and the other."
It was crazy, kind of how with obviously my last name being Duke, but I did not know Trip or Chase at the time. They would come over to my office and say, "Hey, do you know the Duke boys over in Satsuma?" And I was like, "No, I don't know them, but let me find out who they are." So a little bit of Google searching, and I found out who they are and what they offered and what their culture was.
You had to Google me to find out.
I had to Google you to find out.
So kind of like our big thing here, we're pushing out, showing a lot of it, our culture. How do you think like your involvement and your role? What do you do to push the culture?
I would say in order to kind of push the culture that we stand for, accountability is a big thing. Making sure that everyone is held accountable, responsible for what we are wanting to produce, and making sure that everyone is holding up our true core values.
And I think we're biased. We got the best team.
We do have the best team.
What makes it what's special about our team? What makes our team unique other than, our competitors?
I'd say what makes our team so compatible and being the best out there is our love for people, our openness. Everything's very transparent. We have an open door policy, and a lot of people say that but don't mean it. Here at Southern Response, it is tried and true. I have no doubt that I couldn't walk into one of my leaders' offices and say, "Hey, this is what I have going on. This is a problem. I'm not sure how to do it. Can you please help me and give me some guidance?" And they would absolutely meet me at the door with an answer.
Yeah. And that's a big piece about like what we're doing here and the culture, which I did a lot of operations before, y'all got here. And you've been here coming up in February.
February
a year, right?
will be a year.
Okay, it went by quick. Some days it
So
feels long.
fast.
Sometimes
Then
it feels,
sometimes I'm like, I was here the day that they cut the
Yeah.
ribbon in 2015.
But that was like the culture that I wanted. My dad kind of instilled that in us, like hard work.
Right.
To, if you want something done, he would always say, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. So I've taken that, like molded it. Like you can't do everything yourself. And I had a good team. Moments. I had a lot of switch up and stuff, which I've been blessed with some good people here.
Right.
Previously, but the main piece is just being involved in their lives. With them in here every day. So that's been a big piece of what I do here, even though our team's built and I've got you as a recruiting manager, Misty in here and everything. Like, I don't have to be as present as I once was, but it's the fulfillment and the joy of being in here every single day with the team and, hanging out in my office. What was that last week? Everybody was hanging out in my office.
And just coming from, us looking at an owner, a COO, a CEO, that's so important just to hear every day, yes, we can handle things. Yes, we don't have to have you here every single day, but the fact that you are here, the owners are here and in here with us every day, that makes a world of difference.
Yeah. And it's something too is like super important to us. And I know a lot of people say it when they're in like growing stages and small and stuff, but I think I would have a slight heart attack if I wasn't in here.
I think you would too. I think you would too.
I wanted to spend Christmas together in here. But,
yes, you absolutely would. You would not know how to handle that.
Yeah. So you kind of took a turn from your previous job when you were you done recruiting, whole front desk, everything bumped up from there. So
right.
Your track history is pretty. It's a good success story to look
right.
at and read. Like those are the stories like I like and love, and that's why
right.
I love our industry that we're in. But you made a big pivotal point when you come here. I told you, I was like, hey, I need somebody in between me and day-to-day operations
right.
with our recruitment team, because that team's important, and you have to cater and be with them, and like it takes a lot of attention. So it's hard. Like I can't sell, recruit, do this,
right.
do that, like everything together. So I was like, I need somebody strong to come in and be me,
right.
With a recruitment team 24/7.
Yep. I definitely try to be the buffer. I try not to come to you guys until I'm like, okay, I've tried this, I've done this, this worked, this didn't work, this is what we're going to do moving forward. So I try to keep it all in between so y'all don't have to worry about it. You don't have to ever know about it. Hey, we're working on this, and keeping it in the back until I have to bring it to you guys.
Yeah. And I know it's been a little when you first got here, like you still did like heavy recruiting, like you were top performer the whole time. And then we started like pulling that away from you. He's like, Michelle, you gotta draw back, you gotta manage.
Yes.
So from a recruiter standpoint, when somebody's applying stuff, like what are some of the main key points like you push your recruiters to look for in a candidate?
I would say the main thing that I tell them to look for is open communication. Make sure that when you are talking to a candidate, you're letting them know what you have to offer, when you have it available, when it's going to be open, what the qualifications are, what they're going to be required to do, and make sure that they meet those qualifications. Make sure that they understand, okay, you have to be able to do X, Y, Z to be able to even be submitted for this position. So clear communication is one of the biggest things that they need to be looking for.
Yeah, and so I like to say, like, we're a problem solver. Obviously, when you're trying to sell something to somebody, you're trying to service a problem that they have. So you go around like industry topics, like most of it is, can't find good people. How do we find good people when nobody can find good people?
You have to be able to have the positions to offer because you are truly headhunting. So you have to have something that is going to bring them out of the position that they're in and want to take on a role that you have. So whether it's the pay, it's the benefits, it's PTO, it's the work culture, hours of work, you have to have something to offer them.
Yeah. And we've done a little, things a little different. obviously trying to be a step ahead of everybody else. And I get asked the question all the time. It's like, why they come work. Everybody knows how I feel about the word staffing.
Right.
Sometimes it's so compiled with different things, and but generally at the end of the day, like that's what we do.
Right.
But it's got so misconstrued with
It has. There's just so
like
much
all
more
these
behind
day
it.
labor and stuff, and it's like we're on a different level now.
Right.
Like we're doing something bigger. It's completely different. So explaining that to a client, a lot of times the client will be like, well, why would they come work with you instead of, if it's a good person, why aren't they just working with the company directly? Why are they working with you?
I would say because we do most of the vetting. We take care of all that in-house. We take care of, the background checks, the drug screens. We give you a guarantee on, a 90-day guarantee or a 120-day guarantee, whatever it is that you're looking for. And we take all the hard work out of it for you guys. All you have to do is just wait on them to show up for their interview and then hire them on, and then we take care of the rest of it.
And sometimes from like the employee standpoint, it's almost like, because we have really good people that come through here, and it's just like you go online, you job search, whatever. There's so much AI, there's so much fake, there's scams. Like you're walking into a building, and you're getting to deal with real people, real jobs, like real pay, and it just, to me, like if I'm a person looking for a job, like I want to come sit and talk with somebody.
Exactly.
And it's hard to get an interview somewhere, so you're doing all these things consistently over and over again, and you're just like getting beat up because you're not getting callbacks, or you're doing this and nothing's like coming together for you. So to me, like what we get to do is a piece to that, like we bridge that gap.
Right. It's almost like putting a puzzle together. We're able to, a lot of companies have a lot of red tape at their door in order for candidates to be able to get in. Well, we are standing there with the scissors, so we're able to cut the tape and get them into the door in front of the hiring managers, in front of the COOs or, the project managers. So they have the opportunity to sit down in front of someone.
Yeah. What's one of the biggest joys you've had this year? We're coming up on a year of you being here. Like, what's your most favorite piece of being here, or something that you just really enjoy versus, your past experiences?
I would say one of my favorite things, I have multiple, but one thing that stands out the most to me is, and that I love to do and really enjoy to do, is when the entire team sits at the round table on Monday mornings and we just kind of say, hey, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, these are the orders we have, these are the positions that we have, and this is what worked, this is what didn't work. All just kind of sitting there talking to each other, feeling, getting a vibe off of each other and trying to plan our entire week. It's definitely very family oriented, it's very job oriented, and it's a pretty open book, and I love that.
The day to day, what's your favorite part each day? I know it's me walking in the door, but
that's it. You got me.
You can buffer.
Right. I get, my favorite part is hearing the excitement in the recruiters when they feel that hard roll, they get that candidate in, they get a job offer on the table, or they get that direct hire that they've been shooting for so long, and it finally happens. That's a great feeling. That is a great feeling to know that they was able to accomplish that.
Yeah, it's always fulfilling when something like that happens, and you just like bridging that gap to somebody and giving them, giving them life back. It's almost like you see them like light up in an instant.
So it's really, really good. It's a good feeling to go home to in the afternoons, knowing that you have helped somebody, you've changed their life, you've changed their path. Yeah. That's a good feeling.
Sometimes we get beat up so much just day in, day out. Like
you need those wins.
And it's always good to experience and feel. I know the answer to this. Outside of work, what is your most favorite thing or most enjoyable thing that you do?
Outside of work, my most favorite thing to do is obviously spend time with my family, spend time with my husband. I spend a lot of time with my nieces, my nephews, super close to my sisters. We spend a lot of time together. We vacation, go to the beach, we go camping, we float the river. We do all the fun stuff that we do here in the South.
Yeah, and that's important because this job it does call a lot on us. You know, sometimes our busy season, so it's very fortunate for the culture we have and you know how we operate to be able to do those things. Like when it's busy, like we ain't doing
Right,
nothing.
wide open.
But you know, when it slows down and stuff, like really honing in, that's something like that I talk about continuously because it's some faults that I had on my own after my dad passed away, was just like pushing,
Right.
like work all the time. I'd get home and it's like we're doing all these things for our family, and then we're leaving these people
Right,
behind
you're not
as we're
getting to
just
enjoy
pushing.
it,
And it's
the
like
fruits of
you
your
have
labor.
to do this continuously over and over every day. So finding that enjoyment in it and it not becoming like work. So when you do get home with your family, you can relax and like really enjoy them, sit down, spend time with them, get off your phone, like everything. So family's super important to our culture
It
and like what we're
absolutely
doing.
is.
You know, without, I tell people all the time, I wouldn't be where I am today without my wife. Same goes as everybody in here, their spouse, whatever. You know, we're only a fraction good as what we would, you know, are with them.
Yep, finding the work home balance is definitely hard, but here it is mandatory. You have to have that work home balance or you will burn out. So come to work, you show up every day, you're giving it all you have, and then you go home to your family, go home to your spouse, you go home to your children, you go home and then being present during that time that you are home with them is what's most important.
So one last thing, and then we'll kind of close it up. What if you had to describe Southern Response in 3 words? What would it be?
Integrity, value, and trust.
Okay,
That would be my 3 words
I like
for Southern Response.
and that's big on what we're trying to build here. No matter how much we grow or do,
Right.
like those 3 things are key to our success. So
I say that we're small town with big city dreams.
yeah,
So
for sure. Well, I appreciate you sitting down with me and,
Thank you.
and talking today, and I definitely got some good value out of it. I always love talking to you.
I've enjoyed it. It was fun.
So hopefully
Can't wait
somebody
to do
gets
it
something
again.
out of this, and if you like it, just support us, and we'll keep putting these out there. Thanks for watching.